This man is going somewhere through a deserted, quiet place in Arizona. His name is Wyndham Stone. Wyndham stopped his car at a certain point because the car can't be driven from there. He takes his bag, some food, and a camera, and goes to a high place. Actually, there will be a solar eclipse today, which is why Wyndham came here to take some pictures of it. He spends some time here, and just before sunset, he starts heading back. However, he sees a boy on the way. The boy appeared to be crying. Wyndham is surprised to see him. The boy told him that he got lost. Wyndham thinks that his parents might be somewhere nearby, but nothing can be seen even in the far distance. So, Wyndham decides to take him along with him. However, the boy starts walking in a random direction without saying anything. Then he says, "I think my parents are that way." Thinking about the boy, Wyndham feels compelled to follow him. Wyndham tells him to stop because there is no one there. However, by now, the boy has taken him quite far. Then, suddenly, the boy stops and asks him for some water. After drinking some water, the boy smirks and leaves him there. Seeing this, it seems like the boy intentionally brought Wyndham here. Wyndham realizes he has made a mistake because it will get dark in a little while. He has walked far away from his car. If he starts walking back to his car, it will be pitch dark by the time he gets there. Eventually, what he had feared happened. During the day, it's hot here, but when night falls, the cold starts to set in. In this situation, Wyndham is helpless and unable to do anything, so he tries to sleep at a spot nearby. After a while, he hears a noise. Following the source, he discovers a small shack in a canyon. Wyndham is astonished. He wonders how people could live in such a remote place. It's truly mysterious. Wyndham sees a ladder for climbing down, so he uses it to descend and approaches that house door. He knocks, but when he doesn't get a response, he opens the door and finds a woman inside. The odd part is that the woman doesn't react much to seeing an unfamiliar man. The woman gives him some food to eat. When Wyndham asks about her, she says her name is Alina and that she got lost after coming here with a guy. Wyndham doesn't say anything further and lies down to sleep, as he's only here for a short time and plans to leave as soon as morning comes. The next morning, Wyndham wakes up, gathers his things, and leaves. As he's about to leave, he sees Alina still sleeping. Wyndham, not wanting to disturb her, he leaves some money for her and quietly exits the house. Once outside, he is strangely unable to find the ladder. A little while later, when Alina comes outside, Wyndham asks her where the ladder is. Alina says she doesn't know anything about it, and she has no idea who placed the ladder or when, and how it was taken away. So now, Wyndham tries to climb up to get out of this canyon, but it didn't help. Reluctantly, he ends up staying there for another day. The next morning, he takes a hammer and some tools to try climbing up, but after climbing a bit, an animal's head falls straight down towards him. Because of that, Wyndham falls down, and his hammer pierces his leg, causing him to lose consciousness. When he regains consciousness, it has already become evening. Now, he keeps screaming in pain and frustration. Just then, Alina comes to him, takes care of him, and helps him recover a bit. The next day, Wyndham starts shouting and asks Alina, "What's going on here?" But Alina doesn't say anything at all. After that, Wyndham sees a man with a boy above. He talks to him, asks for help, and eventually, the man agrees to help him. They throw a rope down. Seeing this, Wyndham becomes overjoyed and quickly ties it around his body. After that, they pull him up. When he reaches nearly halfway, they stop. He looks up and sees a girl and 4 boys. Among them was the boy who had brought him here. Wyndham realizes that it is because of them that he is in this canyon. Now they start shaking him and cursing him, trying to hurt him and make him scared. Seeing no other way, Wyndham calls out to Alina. Alina comes over and, instead of speaking the language that she was using with Wyndham, she starts talking to them in their own language. At that moment, the shaking rope causes him to hit a rock and suffer a severe injury. After that, they drop him, and Wyndham loses consciousness. When it becomes dark, he regains consciousness and starts struggling to get out. Alina tells him, "None of your efforts will succeed. This is your fate. Your fate has brought you here." Hearing Alina's words, Wyndham thinks that she, too, has ended up here just like him. Now he begins to adapt to this place over time. As days pass, he starts doing some farming work, hoping for food supplies. However, the strange thing is that they provide all the food and other essential supplies, but they don't let him leave this place. Wyndham, frustrated, asks Alina, "Why are they doing this?" Alina replies, "I don't know, but they're fulfilling our needs, and that's enough for me. I don't want to know anything beyond that." Now, various thoughts about this place keep swirling in his mind. In sorrow, pain, and frustration. One night, he drinks alcohol and becomes completely drunk. At that moment, Alina starts changing her clothes in front of him. Seeing this, he gets turned on, and they get intimate. The next day, Wyndham sees one of the boys above. He seems a bit different from the others. Wyndham talks to the boy cleverly and starts getting friendly with him. The boy introduces himself as Lepus and expresses his desire to learn how to read and write from him. After their conversation, Lepus gives him some food and leaves. While Wyndham is doing some chores, he sees a ring and a car key on the ground. He realizes that he is not the only one who came here. There were others who came before him, got trapped, and died. At night, while talking with Alina, he notices a photo of a woman. He asks her if it's her mother's photo. She replies, "No, it's the first mother," but doesn't say anything more. The next day, Lepus comes to Wyndham and asks him to teach him something. Wyndham tries to convince him he can't teach him anything from such a distance. If he helps him get out of this place, he promises to take him with him to a faraway place where they can be a family. He will teach him everything and help him become an educated person. Lepus replies that he doesn't have the courage to do this, but he will try. However, if the other boys are around, he can't act. He suggests waiting until they go elsewhere or fall asleep. Wyndham agrees and says he will be ready and wait for him. Just then, a boy comes and says something to Lepus in their own language, then takes him away. At night, while Wyndham and Alina were having dinner, Wyndham showed her some photos of various parts of the country. Alina's reaction was surprising. She seemed as if she had never been outside the canyon in her entire life, as though she was born and raised here. The next morning, Alina is crying loudly. Wyndham rushes to see what happened and discovers that the other boys have killed the kind-hearted boy, Lepus, and hanged his body. Alina says that Lepus was her son and blames Wyndham for his death. In a fit of rage, she strikes him, causing him to lose consciousness. Then she locks him in an iron cage, and 9 months pass like this. He starts to look like a wild man. One day, while a girl was passing near the canyon, she saw Wyndham and was surprised to see a man in a cage. Wyndham asked her for help, and the girl was willing to help him. However, the boys saw her and attacked, leading her to death in front of Wyndham. This drove Wyndham crazy because, after such a long time, he had finally seen a glimmer of hope, only for it to be crushed. He realized he would never be set free from this hell. Sometime later, when Alina brings food for him, Wyndham tells her, "You can't handle everything alone. Let me out of this cage. I have as much right to the child in your womb as you do." Alina replies, "You are nothing. I'll handle everything," and walks away. Poor Wyndham cries in pain and suffering. A few days later, the time for Alina's childbirth arrives. She is in intense labor pain and starts writhing in agony. Eventually, she approaches Wyndham's cage and releases him. Wyndham becomes extremely weak after spending such a long time in the cage. Once outside, he sees that the ladder is there. That means he could escape from this hell using it, but he chooses not to. This is because Alina is in a precarious situation, and he decides to stay by her side. At that moment, Alina gives birth to a child. Seeing the baby, Wyndham becomes emotional. Both of them are very happy. Just then, the boys suddenly attack Wyndham from behind, leading to his death. Alina shows no reaction to this horrifying death. There is not even a trace of sorrow in her. After that, the scene jumps to 2 months later. Alina appears to be happy, nurturing her child with care. However, outside, Wyndham's decaying body can be seen, which will eventually completely decay and vanish like the rest. With that, the movie ends here. But if you're still confused about what just happened, let me break it down for you. First of all, Alina didn't get trapped here like Wyndham. The woman in the photo we saw in the room was the first mother who started this cult. The boys were Alina's children, which is why they brought food to her. They cleverly tricked men into coming to this canyon and trapped them so they could continue having babies with the mothers.